All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome. If you're new here, thank you guys for joining me today. And thank you, as always, for waiting patiently for the intro to finish up. I hope everybody is doing well today. Ray saying he made it just in time. What's up, Toolman? I feel like it's been a while. 223 Gaming. Meow saying, all right, guys. Xzone saying, damn, the classic PS1 startup on PS5 goes hard. Yeah, I mean, I think that might be like the coolest thing Sony did so far with the 30th anniversary. I mean, just because it wasn't expected. I think people were kind of expecting Sony to do maybe like some 30th anniversary hardware, like a controller and stuff, and some consoles. But yeah, that was an unexpected thing. That was pretty cool. And I did notice too, I don't know how many of you guys noticed this, when you turn off your PS4, like if you shut it down, or I think even if you put it in rest mode, it flashes the 30th anniversary logo and it says like, thank you for being a part of PlayStation or something like that. I just thought that's a pretty cool little thing that Sony did. But yeah, so we have some topics to talk about today. It's been a very, very slow week for PlayStation, and I just realized I forgot to turn the light on. It's very dark in here. Hold on. Yeah, it's been a pretty slow news week all around, but also for PlayStation. But we do have a couple of things to go over today. Nothing major, I would say. One of the things I'm going to be talking to you guys about is basically kind of looking back at a rumor that we got from an insider about a month ago. And I feel like it's relevant to look at this rumor now because if this insider is to be believed, then we are going to be hearing about Wolverine very soon. We're going to be seeing Wolverine very soon. Infinity Nikki came out only on PlayStation, bruh. Console, I mean. Yeah, actually, Mrs. MBG already downloaded it and started playing it. So, Behemoth. Yeah, I'm seeing Sony hyping up Behemoth now for PSVR 2. PSVR 2 getting a day one patch for Behemoth, while MetaQuest has to wait for a 7-day patch. Or for day 7. Yeah, I don't really use my PSVR 2 anymore. I still have it, but we are going to talk about PSVR 2 today. Because there's a new feature, like I would say a pretty major feature that Sony is working on for PSVR 2, and they're seemingly planning on releasing. You want Wolverine Pro plates and a controller? I mean, I have to imagine Sony's going to do that. I would like that too. I don't know. It's one of these things where, at the very least, I don't know if I would buy the plates. Maybe I would. I would. I probably would. But I know for sure that if they do like a Wolverine DualSense, yeah, I'll definitely buy that. I also wonder what they're going to do for the collector's edition. Chris, you're saying you buy any AAA PSVR 2 game. It does seem like, even though PSVR 2 doesn't have the biggest install base, from what I can tell, it seems like the install base that is there on PSVR 2, they buy games. Like they're always there with, supporting new games that release. So I think that matters a lot to VR developers. I think we've even had like some VR developers come out and say that their games sold way better on PSVR 2, even though the install base is a lot smaller. Pretty interesting. I didn't know that. Limited Run has a ton of VR games. I had no idea. PSVR missed out on Asgard's Wrath and Batman VR this month, but at least we got Metro and Behemoth. Yeah, I will say, especially with Batman VR, I feel like that does hurt, for sure. I think that does hurt. Uh, but I do wonder if we're going to find out it's like a timed exclusive and eventually it will come to PSVR 2. I would hope so. You know, I mean, even as somebody who's not really like that's not a game I uh, really care about that much. It's Batman. You know, it's what's my hype level for the Game Awards? It's pretty high, I would say. I feel like the Game Awards has gotten better each year, unless I'm just imagining that. But I feel like it has been getting better when it comes to reveals and announcements. And I would say my hype level this year is relatively high, mainly because it's the 10th anniversary. And I feel like because of that, there's maybe like Jeff Keighley's maybe going to try to, you know, deliver something a little bit extra this year, you know, to kind of celebrate that 10th anniversary. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not, yeah, I'm not overhyped, right? Like, I'm not like, this is it, guys. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's not like that. But I'm just saying, like, my expectation for the Game Awards is when it's over, I'm like, man, that was pretty damn good. And there were like a lot of games shown that I'm hyped for that are going to be coming in the next year or two. That's my hope. And maybe for some people that's too high, but considering how big the Game Awards is now, and how many people watch it, I feel like we're going to see a lot of good stuff. I do. I'm feeling pretty positive about it. Oh, I didn't know that. You're saying meta exclusives don't go anywhere? I didn't know. You're saying that's why you have a Quest. Okay, that makes sense. Am I hyped for the next Batman game in development? Did we get confirmation? I mean, I think there was a rumor that like Rocksteady's working on a remake of the first Batman Arkham game, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a bit disappointing because it feels like they're just kind of going back to the well. You know, like they don't know what else to do. Um, but I'd be interested. Yeah. It's like one of these things where if that's what they're doing and they show it, when I see it, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. You know, I think I will play that. But there's also that like kind of disappointment of like, you guys aren't doing something new. You know, like, but I get it. I feel like after Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I feel like after that, they probably feel like they have to do something that is a surefire, like this will work, like this will sell and make some money. And then maybe after that, they'll kind of figure out where to go from there. Chris, yeah, I kind of feel that way as well. I see so much negativity already for Wolverine, and it's like, can we just see it first? You know, like is that really asking too much to just see the game and just take it from there and see how it looks and plays? I feel like people are just too quick to just like, no, we're gonna make the decision now. Like, why? There's no reason to make that decision now. We don't have to operate that way. Devil Shooter saying you want Half-Life Alyx for VR2, but seemingly Valve values exclusive to PC. Gotta respect it. Yeah, I guess so. It's interesting you mentioned Valve because like there's still talk about like Half-Life 3, and I think like some people are kind of expecting Half-Life 3 to actually be revealed sometime soon, which is interesting. Interesting times for sure. It's like how the PS5 Pro conversation is online. I don't even bother people telling me I'm an idiot who got scammed and robbed by Sony. Yeah. I mean, as you guys know, I appreciate my online conversations, but sometimes it just kind of turns into nonsense. You know, it's like, why would I waste my time? You know? But how do I feel about Sony buying Ubisoft? Sony's definitely not buying Ubisoft. I don't know where Perfect Image. Where are you getting that from? Sony's definitely not buying Ubisoft. No chance. Ubisoft is done. I mean, Ubisoft is in trouble. I think Ubisoft will be bought at some point, but not by Sony. Just a theory? Okay. Yeah, no. I do have a topic listed up here for Ubisoft. Maybe we'll just start there. Why not? So this is from gamesindustry.biz. Ubisoft has announced it will be sunsetting Xdefiant in 2025, resulting in the closure of 2 production studios with layoffs affecting almost 300 employees. As shared in a blog post, Ubisoft Chief Studios and Portfolio Officer Mary Sophie, I'm just going to call her Mary Sophie, said that Xdefiant had not attracted or retained enough players to continue the live service title. The game is too far away from reaching the result required to enable further significant investment. One of its offices in San Francisco will close, but its business office will remain open. Another office in Osaka will close, while production at its Sydney location will be ramped down. 277 people will be made redundant as a result. So 277 people are apparently getting laid off. Half of the Xdefiant team, or no, hold on. Let me just start again. Forget what I said about layoffs. 277 people will be made redundant as a result. Half of the Xdefiant team will be transitioning to other roles within Ubisoft. According to Insider Gaming, a skeleton crew will be kept on to run Xdefiant until its servers shut down on June 3rd, 2025. Season 3 is still set to launch, but as of today, December 4th, new downloads, player registrations, and purchases will no longer be available. They added that Ubisoft will continue to radically evolve its mindset for production and business practices and will partake in targeted restructuring when necessary. Last month, Ubisoft's Mark Rubin dismissed claims that Xdefiant would be shut down after the game's 4th season. So, yeah, not good, man. Not good. But, I mean, are we surprised about this news that Xdefiant is shutting down? I don't think so. I mean, I remember there were conversations going around regarding Xdefiant that, people were actually talking about it, like being a potential Call of Duty killer. And I didn't. I mean, I feel like we've been down this road many times before. It's like the Call of Duty killer, the COD killer, and it's in reality, it's like no, it's not going to be that. The game will be lucky if it can even sustain itself, let alone kill Call of Duty. The unfortunate thing I would say about Xdefiant is it doesn't seem like it was a bad game. It just seems like it didn't. It's a free to play game. A free-to-play live service game. We already know how fierce the competition is. I mean, what are we going to do, Xbox is king. You're saying, hey, did you guys hear Norman Reedus confirm that Death Stranding 2 is coming to Xbox? That's hilarious. Well, guys, listen. If you're gonna say stuff like that, you got to follow it up with, like, where did you hear it? Where is this coming from? Because it's like one of those things where it's like, I haven't heard a word about that. I haven't heard anything. I mean, if it's bait, it worked. If it's bait, it definitely worked on me. But yeah, Xdefiant is shutting down. Ubisoft suffering some layoffs, restructuring. I mean, Ubisoft has been in a downward spiral for a while now, and they definitely have. I think this is kind of just the beginning for them. Chase, you're saying that's the most obvious thing ever. Death Stranding 1 is on Xbox. I mean, is it possible that Sony would come out and be like, hey, Death Stranding 2 is coming to Xbox? Maybe, but I'm going to say that there's a deal in place with Death Stranding 2. Truthfully, Death Stranding 2 probably wouldn't release on Xbox for a couple years, I would assume. I think Sony would make sure to, like, lock that down. I could be wrong, though. I mean, maybe it's Kojima, maybe they'll give him a special deal where it's like, after 6 months, you can put it on Xbox or something, You think it's going to come 5 years? It could. I mean, it could be that way. Yeah, that could be part of the contract where it's like, listen, any game, any Death Stranding game made it, you can do what you want with it 5 years later. I don't know. We're talking about contracts and negotiations that took place like a decade ago, so it's anybody's guess. Luna says I share the same name as your cat. Nice. He bought the engine now. I don't think he bought the engine, but he's using a Sony engine, the Decima engine. Yeah, Decima engine's running on Xbox now. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Death Stranding 2, but my guess is it's going to remain a PlayStation 5 exclusive for a certain amount of time, and then eventually it'll go to Xbox. But I would be very surprised if it's just like, yeah, it's gonna launch day and date with Xbox. That'd be quite shocking. I think Death Stranding 2 is going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I am. I think that's a game that we actually will see at the Game Awards. I think so. Yeah. I mean, it feels right. I think we could get a release date for it at the Game Awards potentially. Xbox is King. You're saying you're not saying it's coming day and date. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that to me would be. I would really love to know like how Kojima managed that one. You know, because to me that's just something that Sony I don't think would ever agree to. Like day and date, I don't think. I mean, it would send a signal. You know, I think Sony knows that. Isn't Decima Engine the Horizon Gorilla game engine? Yep. Yep. Marcos, you're saying I'm tired of PlayStation's lack of a roadmap regarding events. We never know when there will be an event. Some state of plays, like nothing. We know that PlayStation Studios doesn't have enough studios for this, but still. Yeah, I mean, 2025 is going to be an interesting year, to be honest, because Sony is going to ride out the remainder of the generation one of two ways. They're going to coast, and it's just like, listen, we got like 3 more years of this generation, 3.5. We're already set. We already announced the games that we're going to be releasing. And that's that. You know? Looks like Meow dropped a emote, a cat emote. I guess that's supposed to be. That looks like it could be either Luna or Leia. Thank you for that. Yeah. By the way, guys, we have 2 goals. I forgot to mention this. We have 2 goals we're striving for. They are lowered today. All right. 10 super chats and we feed the beast, or 10 memberships and we feed the beast. So keep that in mind as we go forward. Sony's trying to acquire Katakawa. If they succeed, PlayStation could potentially get 4 more studios. Yeah, I mean, the last report we heard about Katakawa, like that situation, the last report we heard is that if it's going to happen, it's going to wrap up in December. Like they said, the announcement could be just a few weeks away. So, no, I don't think they would announce something like that at the Game Awards. But just, I don't think that is the appropriate place. But I could see it happening in the next like week or two if it's going to happen. You think it would be funny? It would be kind of funny. But yeah, I think, Sony is going to end the generation one of two ways where it's like, look, we're just going to coast and ride this thing out and not really make a big deal about it and just, business as usual and do the bare minimum. Or, they're planning on kind of ending the second half of the generation with a bang. And I think really what it boils down to is what they're going to do with their studios, because we do have to understand that Sony is in the planning stages right now of like they got to make sure some of their studios, like they have to map out what games are going to be PS6 launch games, you know? Um like is there a game that's going to be ready to go at the end of 2027 that maybe we should just I don't know. I don't know. It's true. We don't have much of a roadmap. We have, I would say, a very vague roadmap. Like we have Wolverine, Death Stranding 2, Marathon, Fair Games, and all of those games, as far as we're aware, are 2025 games. Then we have Wolverine, which I think is targeting 2026. So we have like a small roadmap, like a very short term roadmap, but we have no idea. Like we just, we have no idea like what's beyond that, and that's okay. I don't think that's problematic because we do know that, like, we know what studios we're not counting. We know what studios we haven't heard from or seen their game yet, and we know that they're working on it. It's not like they're just sitting there doing nothing. So I'm not so sure about the Venom game now. I'm not so sure about it. Luna, you're asking how do you super chat on the YouTube app? If you're in the chat, usually there's like a dollar sign icon at the bottom right of the chat. At least that's how it is for me. Let's see. But yeah, so speaking of a roadmap, oh yeah, by the way, another way you can super chat if you're trying to figure that out is you can click the bullseye at the top, the super chat goal. That'll let you do it too. But one of the things I do want to mention is looking back 2 months ago, it was reported on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit that Kirkasis, a somewhat known insider who's been correct about stuff in the past, they've been correct about some PlayStation stuff. They said, from my little digging, it looks like Sony is gearing up to show off some new stuff from Marvel's Wolverine. It's hard for me to determine when it will happen, but I'm guessing it will be this year, either at the Game Awards or at some unannounced super secret event. Now, that was 2 months ago. And that's why I wanted to bring this up as kind of a reminder that this person has been correct in the past. They don't seem like an individual that's just coming out here making things up for attention. They don't come out with stuff that often, but you have to imagine that, considering that was 2 months ago, they got to be just about ready to show whatever it is that they were preparing to show, right? And the Game Awards is just a couple days away at this point. I don't know, man. I don't want to lock it in, but I'm thinking there's a really good chance we're going to see Wolverine at the Game Awards, and I'm super interested in that. Like, I'd be very excited, assuming it's going to be as good as I hope it is. What are we talking about? Talking about Wolverine showing up at the Game Awards. Do I think that the GTA 6 trailer 2 and release date will come out at the Game Awards? I don't think so. No. I think we are going to hear from GTA 6 this month, but I don't think it's going to be at the Game Awards. I think Rockstar, they're just too big for it, man. I think that they just do what they want when they want. I think that's how Take-Two Interactive wants to. And unless Jeff Keighley like paid them a lot of money, to get it at the Game Awards, which I feel like that would be not a waste of money, but like it's too. At that point, I'd say like, how much would you really have to pay to make something like that happen? Oh, Luna, I appreciate that. It looks like you figured out how to super chat. You're saying, hi, MBG, I'm new to your channel, and I've learned a lot from your channel. Keep it up, and hi to your community. What are you looking forward to from PlayStation? Well, thank you so much for the super chat, Luna. and welcome to the community. I'm glad you've been enjoying the content. Right now, I would say the thing I'm most looking forward to. I feel like it's a bit of a tie between Death Stranding 2 and Wolverine, because these are two games that I feel like are closer. Well, at least we know Death Stranding 2 is close. Maybe Wolverine's a little bit further out, but I'm excited for those games right now because I feel like we have a high chance of seeing more of those games very soon. But generally speaking, when it comes to what I'm excited about for PlayStation or what I'm looking forward to, I think just 2025 in general, I'm looking forward to because I have a feeling that a lot of 2024, even though Sony did release a lot and they were consistent, you could also tell that behind the scenes for Sony, a lot of it was also restructuring going on. Um, them kind of sorting things out, things shifting and moving around, and obviously trying to pivot themselves away from the live service push because they went in too hard with that. So I think 2025 in general, I'm just looking forward to kind of seeing how different Sony operates compared to 2024. And yeah, I have high hopes. I don't want to get my expectations too high, but hold on. Apparently my alerts aren't popping up for some reason, which is weird. Let me see why that's not working. Oh, okay. Yeah, for some reason, my alert box was hidden, but I unhid it. So your super chat should have come up on screen, but it didn't. Same thing with anybody who's been gifting memberships. So I apologize for that. How long has it been like that? Yeah, Marvel Rivals is dropping tomorrow. Wow, your cat has the ability to type and ask a legible question. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yeah, Marvel Rivals. It actually seems to have a fair amount of hype surrounding it. I would say there's quite a few people looking forward to it, and it is supporting the PS5 Pro as well, which is cool. You think it's gonna flop? I don't think it will. Honestly, I mean it's Marvel. I feel like anything, no, not anything Marvel, but most things Marvel, I think are somewhat safe. I mean, I don't plan to play it. It's not really speaking to me. Um, it looks okay. It looks okay, but it's not something I'm planning on going out of my way to play. Right now, what I'm playing, I'm still playing Until Dawn. I'm taking my good old time to platinum Until Dawn. I'm not rushing it. It is a bit tedious, I will say. A lot of replaying sections and collectibles and stuff, but I'm uh I'm in the process of platinuming Until Dawn. Still playing Black Ops 6 multiplayer, just kind of, you know, getting some rounds in each day, just leveling up my character and guns and whatnot. And and I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to think about what I'm gonna play next once I platinum because I want to get another single player game in the rotation. And I know people they want me to go back and play Rebirth or some people want me to play like Metaphor ReFantasio, which I don't know that I'm going to do that, obviously. But yeah, I'm gonna think about which game I'm gonna play next. I know that there's also like Warhammer 40k Space Marine that I wanted to play, and I haven't gotten around to it. And it also did get PS5 Pro patched, so Horizon Remaster's calling. I did play a little bit of the Horizon Remaster, but I don't know, man. I feel like I don't have any desire to replay the Horizon games. Did I ever give my thoughts on Silent Hill 2 Remake? I did. Yeah. See, this is where I got to figure out, I got to do a better job at focusing my content. I think my streams are a bit oversaturated because I noticed that like people are asking me if I gave my thoughts on certain games or did like reviews of certain games, and I definitely did, but they're kind of mixed in with regular streams that we talk about a bunch of other topics, so it's very easy to miss. So I got to get better at I think just kind of singling that stuff out and separating it from the regular topic based content. GTA 6 is going woke, but Rockstar ain't going broke. Dude, listen, I need to know where this is coming from. I've been seeing people saying that GTA 6 is woke, and I'm like, what now? You know, like it's just really gotten to that point where it's like, what now, man? You know, every day it's like, did you hear about that new thing that went woke? It's getting to a point where I don't even think I want to know, because it's like, of course, I just assume everything's woke these days. What isn't woke? And I feel like everything's just gotten so bunched and lumped in together. It's frustrating. Navdeep, I'm only going to say that part of your name because I will absolutely obliterate the rest if I even attempt to say it. So Navdeep says, why is Sony not making a new PSP? Apparently they are. Well, I guess it depends on what you mean when you say that. If you're asking why they're not making a direct follow-up to the PlayStation Portable, it's because Sony is not planning on going back to the more traditional handheld console model. The traditional handheld console model is, well, in the case of Sony, powerful, capable hardware, dedicated handheld hardware that gets its own ecosystem. The ecosystem, like for example, if Sony were to make the PlayStation Portable 2, the PlayStation Portable 2 would be its own separate ecosystem away from the PS5, and it would have its own exclusives and its own library. And that's just not feasible anymore. That's not practical. And I also think it just doesn't make sense considering the direction everything's going in. I think at this point, what we will see is the PSP2, because Sony is making a handheld, a dedicated one. It's going to be apparently a portable PS5. And it's going to, you're going to log in with your PSN. You're going to have your digital games library and everything else. And so you're saying it's really frustrating how the term woke got adopted and continues to be used incorrectly. We have no idea the original meaning of it. What is the original meaning? I have an idea in my head of what it is, but I'm not sure if it's correct. Woke, the African American English synonym for the general American English word awake. Stay woke. What is Webster's definition of woke? Aware of and actively attentive to important facts and issues, especially of racial and social injustice. Has that always been the original meaning? I woke up this morning. That's always been the original meaning. To be aware of social justice issues is what woke was. Okay. And, well, I guess the question is, what would we say the definition is now? Like when people are using it incorrectly. I mean, it does feel like it's like an umbrella term now. saying, have you guys seen what's going on with David Jaffe lately? He's attacking women online now. No, honestly, I could say I have not. I don't know if that's true or not, but wow. I swear to God, like every day I stream, like people are saying stuff in my chat. Like they're like, "Do you hear about this?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what you're talking about, man." Like I don't even know if it's true or not. The awoken ones. That's the original meaning. People overuse the word now to mean anything involving diversity. Okay. Yeah, I think that's well put, Kaz Jam. I think you're right. I think that is what we're seeing now. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I've seen people saying recently that apparently GTA 6 is woke now, and I don't even I don't. Does anybody know where that's coming from? Did something happen? Did something leak? Is there something I'm not aware of? Because the only thing I'm aware of when it comes to GTA 6 is the only trailer that they released and the synopsis of the game. And literally nothing about, like, the word woke simply does not apply. Oh Jesus. Are you serious? Radic, that's where it's coming from? Please tell me you're joking. That's where it's coming from. Saying more info incoming. Dude was right so far. What was he right about? I'm not. I don't know. I just wanted. I don't know, man. I'm very hesitant to trust certain channels and certain individuals that, from what I could tell, like they very much they have, prerogative to continue to chase certain stories. Luke, thank you for the super chat, buddy. You're saying, do you agree with gaming media when they say if Indiana Jones lands above 80 at Xbox One 2024 because Call of Duty, Age of Mythology, Hellblade, and Flight Simulator? I mean, I guess it really depends on what they mean by one, right? Like if in this case, if winning means having more first party games with the most, with like higher Metacritic scores, I mean, I guess technically, like if we're looking at it from the most technical standpoint, it's possible that Microsoft has the best year in terms of first party output and Metacritic scores. But I mean, when you're a publisher as large as Microsoft and you have that many franchises that you've secured and now when they're released are considered a first party Microsoft release, I mean, yeah, Luke, what, you're so worried, bro. Luke's like, nah, man, this can't be real. I mean, I feel like the conversation's dead, though, right? Like the whole who won? I feel like that conversation died. And I think it died maybe like a year ago, a year and a half ago. And it's like, oh yeah, of course it died now that Microsoft has it. No, it's not because Microsoft has all these games. It's because Microsoft is like Call of Duty's on PlayStation, you know? Indiana Jones is releasing on PlayStation in like 4 or 5 months. So if it does do, you know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe Flight Simulator, I don't know if that's going to come or not, but I guess what I'm just trying to say is like the conversation around winning I think it revolved around the notion of like 2 major or 3 major platform holders competing. But if we're talking, if I guess it's like we could shift that into publishing now. Like the competition is publishing. Who is the better? Who did a better job publishing games this year? Right? I mean, I don't know. You got Microsoft. They got games like Call of Duty, like you said. They got Hellblade. Although I don't think Hellblade reviewed as well as people expected. You got Indiana Jones, but Sony, you got Helldivers, you got Astrobot. I guess you have Lego Horizon Adventures. I don't know if anybody views that as anything of consequence, but no, I don't know, man. This stuff just doesn't really interest me that much anymore at the moment, anyway. Because I don't know, man. I feel like the industry is shifting. It is. And the conversation surrounding PlayStation and Xbox has changed like permanently. I just don't think it's ever going to be the same again. And I think it's just because this is maybe the last, like, I don't know. I don't even want to say this generation has been normal, but the 3 years prior to hitting the midway mark, I think this is the last like normal, generation. But yeah, I want to go back to this for a moment, just because I'm intrigued by it. I want to know more. I want to know more, without actually having to look it up myself. That's why you guys are here. What is going on with this Endymion GTA 6 being woke situation? Can somebody just give me the gist? And yeah. Oh yeah. And somebody said that he's been correct thus far, and I would like to know what he was correct about, because listen, from my understanding, this Endymion guy is not a good source of information. MBG, we're at the phase people are trying to find it, and they will. Luke, you're saying it's because Xbox is winning the MAU battle, and soon they'll be winning in gross earnings. How are we supposed to compete, MBG? Well, I think Sony. Well, it depends. It's not that Sony isn't going to continue to compete. Sony's still a major, major publisher as well. But if we're talking about Microsoft just kind of leapfrogs them with, like you're saying, earnings and MAU because they're the biggest publisher in the world. It's just sheer volume. You know what I mean? It's like the amount of studios, the amount of IP, the amount of games coming out every single year. The truth is, Sony probably won't be able to compete with that. But I don't think that's like a surprise, right? It's like, well, yeah, I mean, Sony didn't go buy EA, or Ubisoft. They bought a handful of studios, and even since, they've shut down a few of them, a few of their internal studios. So I think Sony's approach is more about, it's more about the impact of their games, more bang for the buck, I guess you could say, rather than just kind of firing off as many as possible and having as many do as well as they can. But I mean, the competition, see, the type of competition you're speaking about Luke, I would say you're talking about publishers competing for revenue. And I'm not saying that's completely different from the previous type of competition we've seen between Sony and Microsoft, where Sony and Microsoft are competing in the console marketplace. They're competing to get the most console market share. The truth is, I think both Sony and Microsoft are going to be fine because Sony, they're a revenue leader because of their console sales. The console sales lead to a very engaged user on the ecosystem and a user that spends quite a bit of money on it. That's why Microsoft wanted to win more market share in the console space as well, but they couldn't, or at least they struggled to. So Microsoft basically just found a different alternative solution where they're like, all right, well, what's another way we could get that amount of money? Publishing, just sheer volume of games releasing, successful live service games, and just people being involved with our games. That'll do it too. So I think they're both going to be fine in this sense. I think the competition itself has transformed, or in some cases is almost non-existent at this point. I do think there's always going to be competition in the publishing space to a degree, though. Like, I do think that Sony, let me put it to you this way. If Microsoft were to put out a game at some point this generation that looks like their own version of The Last of Us, and it actually does really well, or you know what? Let's go Horizon. I think that actually makes more sense. Let's say Microsoft makes their own Horizon, and it actually reviews better than, or just as good as, Forbidden West. I think that's when Sony is like, shit, we got to make sure that we're on top of our game, because that's more direct competition. But that's what's kind of interesting about seeing, like, you talk about something like like Call of Duty was the biggest game Microsoft released this year. Yeah, definitely bigger than anything Sony's released, but Sony isn't releasing I guess we could count Concord if you want to, but Sony's not trying to release a more traditional first-person shooter, like military first-person shooter. If they did, it probably would get destroyed by Call of Duty, just like Xdefiant did, So until we start seeing more, I would say, direct, shot for shot, like, I think Hellblade 2 is the game that people kind of viewed as like, that's Microsoft's answer to something like The Last of Us or whatever. And it's like, no, it's not. It's something, but it's not that. And we'll see. We'll see with games like Fable and stuff, and we'll see how it plays out. But El Unico, you're saying, MBG, did you look into Overwatch having 6 million daily and Fortnite having 3.5 million daily? Xbox is killing it with live service like WoW, COD, Overwatch 2, etc. No, they are. I mean, again, they paid for that, man. Like, but yeah, that's the thing. You drop $69 billion. The results got to be there, and the results are there. And I think the important thing to take note of here, El Unico, is that if Microsoft can maintain that, if they can keep these live service games up and running and thriving, then I think that they'll be just fine. I think the only real concern is if they're able to do that or not, because it's easy, I guess you could say, to buy something that's already working. What's not easy is after you own it and it breaks or something goes wrong, are you going to know how to fix it? I think that's the real test. Same goes for Sony, though, with, like, for example, if they buy From Software and one day something goes terribly wrong with From Software, it's like, Sony, you're going to... Well, actually, no, we just saw that. That's literally just what happened with Bungie. Sony bought something that looked like it was working fine, and then it immediately broke down, and they're like, oh shit, we got to try to fix this. And we have yet to see the results. Angry Well Watcher saying, I'm dropped off PlayStation, premium PlayStation Plus. The free-to-play market is too strong to justify the re-up. Marvel Rivals and Infinity Nikki got my back, and I'm still jamming with, I guess, Zoneless N0. Yeah, man, I don't blame you. PlayStation Plus is expensive, and I do feel like you have to consciously think about whether or not it's worth it for you to pay for PlayStation Plus. You know, you do get. I mean, you're talking about premium, so that's the most expensive. And when you're subscribed to something like premium, I think you definitely got to ask yourself, like, do you feel like you're getting your money's worth? Like, do you really feel like you are? Because if you're not, yeah, it's probably like only you know the answer to that. And like you're saying, you're pointing out something I think is really important, and it is the free to play market, where you don't need PlayStation Plus to play these massive games. And so I think it makes sense what you're saying, Angry Well Watcher. We'll see we'll see if you, I guess, let me know if you ever go back to it. If you do, let me know why. I'll be curious, because I imagine Sony still has more plans for PlayStation Plus Premium and Extra and Essential as well. Chris, you're saying you canceled your Game Pass for next month because I just have too many subscriptions. They're all $20. Yeah, I've been there. That shit adds up, dude. Anonymous Boss says, MBG, tell 315 watching to hit the like button. Yeah, guys, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button. It helps the streams out. I really appreciate that. Let me go check something real quick. Oh, shit. Okay. So I just went to go look up. I'm really interested in this GTA 6 shit. I'm not going to lie. So I see two videos. I just typed it in. There's two videos that popped up. The first is the Endymion person. The video is titled Grand Theft Auto 6 Exposed. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, I get it. We all got to use the terms that are going to get the clicks, but exposed, god damn it. So, oh, Jesus. God. The second part of the titles. All right. Oh, my Lord, bro. This title is a doozy. Let me get through this. I'm sorry. Let's get through this. The title is Grand Theft Auto 6 Exposed silences white male developers, plus Rockstar infested with woke DEI agenda. Holy shit. I don't even believe that rumor, and that's got me like sweating. You know, you want to watch it? I do, because it's like, here's what's interesting though. Right above that video, there's another video from a person I've never heard of before, a YouTuber, that says Endymion GTA 6 Exposed Debunk. I mean, god damn it, man. I'm like so torn. Like, I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it. Double grift. I mean, people use the term grift a lot now, too. MBG, you debunked him yourself. Did I? I mean, look, man, I understand the concern, because, like, when I hear something like that, I don't know. It. Oh, yeah. You're right. The Ghost of Yote thing. Yeah. You heard a lot of people on X today claiming Grand Theft Auto will be DEI. Let me see. Let me just. removes transphobic caricatures. Diversity, inclusion, and belonging. LinkedIn, issued January 2021. Privilege is hard to talk about. Unconscious bias, LinkedIn. You know, I want to ask you guys this question for a moment because I know some of you might remember this. Do you remember maybe like a year ago when we were talking about GTA 6? I was saying, because this conversation about GTA 6, like going woke or whatever, this is something that has popped up multiple times. And one of the things I said is that what I could see Rockstar doing, I'm not sure it would work out the way people want it to. But one of the things I said that they could do is they want to start to take themselves more seriously, more than we've ever seen. Like they want a more serious GTA game. Now, the closest thing we got to that was like GTA 4. GTA 4 had a pretty, I would say, serious story, but it was, there was still so much in the game, and that's kind of what GTA is known for. GTA is known to be satirical. It's known to be ridiculous, like purposely. And the most important thing that I would say GTA is known for is punching in all directions. They're not just punching down. They're not just punching up. They're not just punching left or punching right. They're punching in all directions. Nobody's safe. And I think the thing that, and this is I think a realistic fear, if you want to call it that, or concern, maybe concern's a better word to use, that people have is like when they start picking and choosing what they're going to punch at and avoid punching at certain things. That to me is the only thing that I would be concerned about, because it's like, that's not, at that point, it shows a very, clear bias. It reveals something that, yeah, it's parody, right? Like, once they start doing, if they were to start doing stuff like that, where they're just picking and choosing, it loses, I would say, what made it special, which is it's something that everybody's getting made fun of. Everybody's getting laughed at. Everybody's getting the brunt end of it together. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like the great unifier, But I don't know, man. I might. It's literally gaming's South Park. Yeah, exactly. Perfect Image is saying the Hauser brothers half done during Red Dead 2. Don't worry. I mean, I know a lot of. I will say this: there is a certain level of concern for GTA 6 due to the fact that many of the higher individuals that were responsible for all the previous GTA games, as well as the Red Dead games, Dan Hauser. I know, what's the other Hauser brother? I forget his name. There's Dan and somebody will get my back on this one. I know Dan Hauser left. Leslie Benzies left a long time ago. Who's that other guy? There was another guy that left. Laszlo, he left. And so because of this, a lot of people are concerned that, like, yeah, they, this game, like this GTA is going to be very different. Because of it, and in a not good way. Guys, those are, nobody knows the name of the other. You guys are just saying random names and random first name Hauser. There's Dan Hauser, and then there's Sam Hauser. There we go. I knew, that's why I couldn't remember, because it's so similar. Thank you, Radic. I was like, no way, nobody here knows. I don't know. I forgot. But Sam Hauser's still there, if I'm not mistaken. You just sit in cars and listen to radio stations. Shit, it's hilarious. Well, dude, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, if you go play the previous GTA games and you listen to some of those radio stations, I mean, like, dude, they are really making fun of everyone and everything. And that's what made it so funny, where it's like, dude, this is great. And I mean, I get it, man. People are afraid of like the sterilization. But I want to say, the only way I think Rockstar could do that, but I don't think it would work. Well, maybe it would. They could do what they want, but the only way you could do that without, I would say, looking bad is if they basically made it clear that, like, we already saw the first trailer, by the way, so we already know that they're not going in this direction. To be clear, we saw the first trailer. We know they're clearly going to make fun of shit. But still, the only way you could get go woke or whatever, like, we don't want to make fun of people anymore. Right? We don't want to punch down anymore. The only way you could do that is if you're like, because everything's going to be serious now. This is a serious GTA game. I think that would be disastrous as well, though, to be honest, because I feel like you're saying it's based in Florida, it will not be sterilized. I mean, I hope not, I will say, like, I want to see them make fun of everything and everyone, because that's what makes it, I don't know, man. That's what's always made GTA so good. Not just Florida, but Miami. All right. Give me a second here. All right. I gotta know. I'm sorry. I gotta know.
Hey everyone, it's Endymion, and today I have a scoop for you. So, obviously, we all know what Grand Theft Auto 6 is. We know it's coming in 2025, and there's an insane amount of hype behind it for good reason. I have now been given so much information about Rockstar that it is borderline ridiculous here. I do want to say that who I worked with when making this as well. So my partner in crime here is a man who has an insane knack for information gathering. His name is Francesco Solbeck. His Twitter handle is some guy on phone, which you can see on screen here. Yeah, his profile picture's a little goofy, but he's a good guy. So please give him a follow, since he was instrumental to this video coming together, and if anyone has any information on GTA, Rockstar, Apache, or any other game, Francesco can relay with you and get that information sorted in a very good manner. I trust him, and so should you. So shout out to him, thanks again, and let's now get into this info that he's helped me gather. So the big reason is because a lot of people are wondering what is going on with GTA 6, and specifically, has Rockstar gone woke? To be real with you guys, the short answer is yes. The long answer is it's a lot worse than you think. Let me explain. Firstly, we need to explain how things are going down at Rockstar currently and before. 3 of the Rockstar greats left the company ranging between 2020 to 2021. These guys' names are Dan Houser, Laszlo Jones, and Michael Unsworth. These guys were all instrumental in making literally everything that Rockstar has pretty much made up until now. Dan Houser left Rockstar, which was weird because he founded the company with his brother. And then he went off and made another game studio, and then Laszlo and Michael then left Rockstar and joined him too. But why would they all leave? Well, friends, I have your answers, and you're not going to like it. Tell me, do you know what DIB stands for? DEI, of course, is well known, but we have now another term that we have to add to the list. DIB, or Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging, is something that has ravaged through Rockstar like a tornado in the past few years. So we're going to start with Stacy Gordon, who, according to LinkedIn, by the way, don't harass anyone in this video, just let me show you things and then we can discuss it. But Stacy Gordon is a self-proclaimed unapologetic evangelist for inclusion. That's her words, not mine. Stacy is also a voice in gender equity, a keynote speaker, and pushes programs that, for lack of a better word, are these mind virus courses that are designed to rewrite the critical thinking pathways of game developers' minds? into understanding that they are actually racist and must atone for their sins, as Stacy states here. Privilege is hard to talk about, yet it's as pervasive and important as oxygen. It's like bias. Everyone has some type of privilege, just as everyone carries some type of bias. So why is it so hard to talk about? Why do people, particularly white people, get defensive about privilege? And how can we use the privileges we have to advocate for people who don't have the same access? She then shows her podcast called Inclusion.
Okay, hold on, guys. I don't maybe I missed something. Kyle, before I read your super chat, I just want to make sure. Did he say what this woman has to do with Rockstar? Like, did I miss? I'm being serious. I was reading the super chat and I may have missed it. Did he say that part yet? Kyle, you're saying I see hand tracking is coming for VR2. I always wondered why the VR controllers cannot be bought separately. This all makes sense. Yeah, the hand tracking, I saw a video of it. It looks awesome, dude. It looks awesome. Like, that I think could be pretty big. Could be pretty big for VR2, Kyle. No ETL when it's coming out yet. Hand tracking for the win. Hell yeah. So he didn't say yet? Okay. All right. I'll keep watching then, I guess. I'm assuming that this woman is involved with Rockstar Games.
Economics, yes, that's a real name, about how everyone who is white is racist no matter what. But let's keep going because it gets worse. Stacey Gordon also hosts sessions talking about microaggressions and how black people specifically are disenfranchised and must be lifted up to become more powerful, specifically in the gaming industry. This then brings me to the big root of the cancer that is killing Rockstar right now, which is something called unconscious bias. We understand that this is a term that means you are biased without knowing it, but it turns out this DEI stranglehold has actually gripped Rockstar for years now and is choking the entire studio to death. This unconscious bias, by the way, is not just some random thing, but what Francesco was able to discover was that it was actually a mandatory course that was pushed onto employees of Rockstar. Which ones, you may be asking? You can probably guess it, but it was exclusively pretty much only white employees who work at Rockstar right now that were put through this course. As seen here on LinkedIn, connecting Rockstar's LinkedIn account to this Stacey Gordon's unconscious bias tag here, it immediately pings 60 members of Rockstar Games. Francesco was able to go through these, and based on what he found, of the 60 employees forced to take this unconscious bias course in order to gain a certificate, around 58 of them were white people. The other 2 of these 60 people were of Asian descent, but this course was being pushed onto Rockstar employees coincidentally around the same time that Dan Houser, Laszlo Jones, and Michael Unsworth left Rockstar back in 2020 to 2021, which coincides with when a lot of the DEI woke ESG money was entering the game industry at an alarming rate. Effectively meaning that right now, as it stands, Rockstar is completely infected with woke pandering DEI initiatives that have ran through a whole swath of white employees almost exclusively into admitting, submitting, then receiving a certificate to confirm their own unconscious racist bias according to these woke grifters who are infesting Rockstar right now at insane rates. One of these white employees is Michael P., an associate art director at Rockstar Games. He's been with the company for well over 20 years at this point, as you can see on screen right here. And to prove that he's been thrown through this DEI initiative, we can also see here that Michael P. had the unconscious bias training certification given to him after completing the course. And we also have a time frame which says July 2022, again, just over a year or less before all the former heads of Rockstar evacuated the company amidst this DEI takeover. Another employee here named Heather, who is also a senior employee.
Before I continue, I want to ask you guys your opinion. Have past GTA games been racist? Would you say that the previous GTA games have been racist? Saying YouTube keeps lagging out. Yeah, it's happening to me too. Mr. Leaner, you're saying yes. to everyone, and it's more stereotypical to every race. Yes, stereotypical but not racist. Kyle says no. No, kind of. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm just asking this question because I mean, I won't lie. What he's presenting here, this is real. I can't deny that. Like, I'll be honest. I wasn't. This is why I wanted to click on the video, because I'm like, is this some kind of like, here's what I heard, or is there something going to be presented? What's being presented are like, this stuff is real. So these people in Rockstar Games, the 60 people or whatever, they took this course, this training, and they're certified or whatever. And this course was created by this woman. And you know, my whole thing is here. So the implication of all this, the implication is that Rockstar Games has been racist specifically to black people. Because that to me is like what I'm looking at right now, what is being presented. This is a course, you know, that apparently is specifically for people who have an unconscious bias and racism towards black people. And that's why I'm just like trying to sit here and think, like, if I can recall when playing any of the, because I do think the GTA games, absolutely stereotypical, absolutely, you know, stereotyping people all over the place. Again, that's, I think, what people kind of like, that where it's funny because you're stereotyping everybody. But I don't necessarily recall GTA ever blatantly being racist towards one specific group. You think maybe like San Andreas? I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I played San Andreas, and why are you telling me to stop saying black people? I don't know. Comedy is racist in 2024. Eric, you're saying I've never met a black man in my age that didn't love GTA. If this is true, she articulates this is unnecessary. I do remember that. Remember when San Andreas had to be reissued back when it was released? Yeah, that was crazy. That was the craziest thing ever. I do remember that. Saying I doubt it matters. It's about who the employees are and not what random training they were forced to take. Like that. Like, my whole thing here is it's very clear. One of the things that I think is very clear is that starting in 2020, there was all this like ESG money, as they put it, being injected into the video game industry. And so stuff like this started to kind of like find its way into like it's not just gaming, but across the board. King Sausage. Wait, hold on, bro. It says your message was retracted. What did it say? Why did you retract it? Now I'm confused. Anonymous Boss says W. Whatever the message was, I didn't see it. You're saying they kind of had this training since 2012? I feel like stuff like this has always existed. I think maybe it like kind of proliferated a little bit more starting in like 2019, 2020. Why is this guy going crazy at a video over HR training? Like, the whole thing I want to know here is what is this going to mean for GTA 6? Like, okay, you're showing me this stuff. I get it. They took this training. But I want to know, what does this mean for GTA 6? Oh, my entire chat just died for some reason. Why? Yeah, I don't know what happened in that message, that super chat he just dropped. Saying none of this is new. $1 million companies do this just to avoid discrimination lawsuits. That video is a big fat nothing burger. I mean, I feel like if I'm gonna have any criticism, I have to finish it first. You know, like I can't just watch like 7 minutes of it and be like. But that's the whole thing. Is it's just like. I feel like the video, you know, the framing of it is so clearly I shouldn't be excited for GTA 6 now. It's ruined. Rockstar Games is ruined in GTA. Oh, you're saying he forgot to write something in a super chat? Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I was a little bit worried that he did write something and it like didn't come through. Well, I mean, I do appreciate it either way. Okay, you guys didn't see anything on the super chat either? All right. Yeah, I was a little bit worried it like glitched out or something. All right, let's continue on here. I'm going to speed up the video a little bit though.
At Rockstar, and of course is a white person also, has the unconscious bias certification listed on their LinkedIn as well. What's crazy is we are actually able to find and access the unconscious bias learning program and then look into it, discovering that yes, Stacy Gordon is the person behind this program, but it gets worse. As I scroll down, you can see how this course is designed to shame you into compliance. The most alarming and worst part was finding out that as of the making of this video, that 445,948 people have taken and completed this course. You heard that right. Now this number is not just games, I would assume, but all kinds of industries, which is great for Stacy, because then the course allows her to shill her product to every corner of the modern working world.
How can we consciously address bias as we move through our workplaces and lives? While there is a clamor for action, action without awareness leads to inauthentic and performative behavior that repeats the cycle of systemic inequality. In order to be aware of when we are acting from an unconscious bias, we need to be able to identify when they're happening. Instead of this causing you distress or feeling hopeless, I invite you to embrace the complexity of being human. My name is Stacy Gordon. I'm an executive advisor to senior leaders in the field of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. I spent years working in Fortune 500 companies and nonprofit organizations specializing in diversity and inclusion. And today, I hope to bring awareness to the topic of unconscious bias. In this course, we're going to talk about unconscious bias and the impact it has on business. You'll be introduced to some common types of biases that have a large impact in our workplace processes and environments, so you'll now begin to notice the effects of bias in your workplace, in your schools, and in your communities. This awareness is what is needed to begin to make the necessary changes in our behavior, and throughout this course, I'm going to ask you several questions. I recommend you write down your thoughts as we go, so grab a notebook or a writing tablet, and let's get started.
Hold on, guys,
How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
Feels great.
But if you were to just take Rockstar as a size and quantify how many people have been brainwashed into taking this course to renounce their skin color, gender, or whatever else, in the name of woke absolution, this course equates to around 222 full Rockstar teams worth of people that have opened their minds to this program. These are the sorts of things that are ruining video games, friends, but there's more. As you can see here, we also have the DIB course of Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging, and lo and behold, over 1,125,843 people as of the making of this video have been forced through this test, which is a staggering amount of professionals being filtered through DEI programs by their companies to renounce either their whiteness, their advantages, or biases in the name of the agenda. I mean, just listen to the official description of the unconscious bias agenda, and I quote, "We're all biased, our experiences shape who we are, and our race, ethnicity, gender, height, weight, sexual orientation place view the world. In this course, diversity expert Stacy Gordon helps you recognize and acknowledge your own biases so that you can identify them when making decisions and prevent yourself from making calls based on a biased viewpoint. Stacy Gordon explains some of the most common forms that a bias takes: affinity bias, halo bias, perception bias, and confirmation bias. She helps you recognize the negative effects of bias within your organization, as well as the benefits to be realized by uncovering bias in decision-making processes. Finally, she outlines strategies for overcoming personal and organizational bias." End quote. We're going to circle back to this whole unconscious bias thing in a second, but we also got to delve into some other things as well. Another thing Francesca was able to decipher was that Rockstar has had a staggering amount of employees join them in the last 2 years. But the weird part about a lot of this is that a vast majority of these new hires are coming from a very specific studio in question, that being Behavior Interactive. In case you don't know, Behavior Interactive is a studio that was responsible for games like Dead by Daylight, the casting of Frank Stone, Meet Your Maker, and even worked on other projects such as Mortal
Yo,
Kombat 1, Immortals of
Dead by
Avium,
Daylight.
Gears 5, Rainbow Six Extraction, Borderlands the pre-sequel, Call
Yo, hold on. I'm super interested in what he's saying now. I am super interested in what he's saying right now because I've played Dead by Daylight for years, bro. For years.
of Duty Vanguard, and many more. In case you don't know, also, Behavior Interactive is home to DEI agenda pushes like the Wheel of Privilege 2. They are also originally located in Montreal in Canada, the same exact
Yo, hold on. What the fuck is the Wheel of Privilege? What is the Wheel of Privilege? Why does he just say shit like that and not explain a new game show? Welcome to the Wheel of Privilege. You know, it's funny, dude. I've been playing Dead by Daylight for years, and yeah, you can see the woke in it. Like, they got, you know, there's some woke stuff going on there. But I don't know, man. I'm just like, the game's fucking fun, bro. I'm not offended by any of this. Like, I'm just having fun. Yo, what's up, Corey? The Wheel of Privilege. That is a crazy term, dude. I've never heard that in my life.
city that Sweet Baby Inc. operates out of. Just letting you know. But when it comes to the Wheel of Privilege thing, we have this Fandom Pulse article here where a woman named Sylvia Duckworth, which I covered in a video recently, made this wheel that details people's privileges based on who or what they are. And fellow YouTuber Smash JT found recently too that this Sylvia Duckworth has published books praising black people specifically, and has even made books pushing trans stuff. Video recently made this wheel that details people.
Oh my god. I'm looking at it now, the Wheel of Privilege. That dude, this is insane. Okay, so he actually did bring up this Wheel of Privilege, and it is... Oh my god, this is cursed, bro. Show us the Wheel of Privilege. I think I'm gonna have to. Hold on. Hold on. This is where I feel like things are getting taken too far. And I can understand why people are getting upset, like, not even just upset, but they're just straight up getting pissed off. They're like, what the fuck are we doing? Let me hold on, just give me a moment. I didn't have it set up. Um see. Is it showing up? This is the Wheel of Privilege, bro. How did we get here? We're saying the NBC collection is a blast to play. Imagine Red Dead Redemption 3 going woke. It looks more fun than Trivial Pursuit. I feel like whoever made this had like way too much time on their hands, bro. I'm just trying to take it in. All right, so we're looking at this wheel. Body size. If you're large, if you have a large body, you're the furthest out from having power. If you have an average body, you're a little bit closer to power. If you have a slim body, you're the closest to power. Okay. Mental health. If you're vulnerable, you're far from power. If you're mostly stable, You're a little bit close. You're kind of at the midway point to power. If you are robust in your mental health, you're very close to power. Corey, you're saying GTA 6 going woke now. Yeah, dude. This is I came across this video from this Endymion guy, and I had to check it out for myself because I don't know, man. I saw a lot of people today saying like GTA 6 is going woke, and this video is like breaking it down, but I'm like fascinated by this wheel of power / privilege, because apparently this is like a tool or something that is used in these workplaces or whatever. Like, I've never heard of this before. Let's see. Housing. If you're homeless, you ain't got no power. Gee whiz. If you're sheltered / renting, you're closer to power. If you own property, you're closer to power. Wealth. Poor, middle class, rich. I mean, that one's obvious. Language. Non-English, learned English, English. Gender. If you are trans, intersexual, non-binary, you're furthest from power. Cisgender woman, cisgender male. Citizenship. Skin color, dark, different shades, white. Formal education. Ability, significant disability, some disability, able-bodied. Oh, yeah. You said all this chart's useful for is coaster. Dude, I forgot. Mrs. MBG got me these PS1 themed coasters, bro. They're awesome. Don't look at the wheel of privilege. Look at these awesome PS1 themed coasters instead. So English is the most powerful. Dude, give me the Final Fantasy one. Those coasters are awesome. Yeah, Mrs. MEG surprised me with them. You're saying it's to visualize marginalization as power, basically, in the text to the right. I've seen different versions of this power / privilege wheel online, and this is a combination of a few. I did not include religion because the power structure of this category varies tremendously from country to country, but it should definitely be included in the conversation. Note, I realize that a slim body size is seen as more advantageous for women than men. Wheels like this help us visualize what the term marginalization means. The further you are from power, the more marginalized and powerless you are. You will notice as you try to place yourself in the different categories what your level of power / marginalization will likely shift between categories. Let's see. I'm a cisgender, English-speaking, average? Mostly stable? I'm vulnerable, bro. I ain't mostly stable. I'm all over the place on this. All right, I'm sorry. I just got so distracted by this because I thought, I don't know, man. Like, I guess this is a thing that's being put out there. Does this wheel make you feel uncomfortable? This wheel makes me feel very uncomfortable, man. No, I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's, I guess a lot of it is true, but some of it I also feel like is just kind of like, I don't know that it's actually like fully true, you know? But all right. Let's I guess we'll continue. I guess basically where we are in the video is he's saying that this is like the type of stuff that in summary, you're pretty much Palpatine from Star Wars Episode 3, Unlimited Power. None of this matters if you're ugly as hell. You know, what about the saying, it's not what you know, but who you know? What about that? You know, how does that fit in here? Because I feel like, I don't know, man. I don't feel very powerful. You know? I don't. But let's keep going, I guess.
People's privileges based on who or what they are. And fellow YouTuber Smash JT found recently too that the Sylvia Duckworth has published books praising black people specifically, and has even made books pushing trans stuff onto children through picture books. All of this is funded and created by Behavior Interactive, which, like their name suggests, things are made to force behaviors into games themselves and more. And many of the games that I showed that they are a part of have characters where women are favored, like Gears of War 5, or games that desexualize characters like Mortal Kombat 1, specifically the females. So now that you know who and what Behavior stands for, let's circle back to Rockstar. Like I said, many people from that studio are now working at Rockstar coincidentally around the same time Dan Houser and the rest left the company in the past few years. One of these people is Wendy Enriquez Donasaint, who is a director of talent acquisition at Rockstar Games currently. Wendy confirms on LinkedIn here where it says Wendy Enriquez Donasaint is the director of human resources and talent acquisition at Bethesda Game Studios. Wendy has over 15 years of experience in human resources and talent acquisition. Wendy started their career as a recruiter at Behavior Interactive in 2005. And now, as we know, she has now moved on to Rockstar, becoming the head of hiring for that company. As you can see here, she's been at Rockstar for almost 2 years now, again, coincidentally, around the same time Dan Houser and such leave. She then becomes head of talent acquisition. Isn't that weird to anyone else that all of these people, these initiatives, these programs, certificates, all of it immediately enters Rockstar as soon as the original people leave? Well, maybe this Wendy person isn't tied to DEI, even though she comes from Behavior and is working at Rockstar. Well, we were able to also find out that Wendy's sister here, Ingrid Enriquez Donasaint, has published books about representation and inclusivity as well. Ingrid, like I said, who is the sister of Rockstar's talent acquisitions director, even calls herself a grand strategist and ethnographer, which I looked into it in case you don't know what an ethnographer is, as Google puts it. An ethnographer is a person who studies and records the culture and ways of life of a particular group or society. They use a combination of emic, insider, and etic, outsider approaches to describe the cultures they study. Ethnographers use a research method called ethnography, which involves observing and interacting with people in their natural settings. They immerse themselves in the social group they are studying for months or even years, observing their behavior, there's that word again, listening to their conversations and participating in those conversations. But surely there's no connection, right? I mean, the Rockstar talent...
Bro, what he just described sounds like some fucking National Geographic shit. Like, there are people out here walking around looking at other people, like treating other groups of people like animals, like I must immerse myself to see what they're like in their natural habitat. Like, bro, what the shit's getting weird. Like a safari. Oh man, there's definitely a rabbit hole here, and it's weird, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that this is anthropology, it used to be called, MBG. I'm not convinced that this means GTA 6 is going to be woke or bad. I mean, I understand the connections that people are going to make. I guess at most, I can understand why people, they're presented with this stuff. They're like, listen, Rockstar Games never had any of this for their development teams. They never had this as part of the company. Now it is part of the company. I think that makes it even more interesting, because it's like, okay, well, let's see what damage it does. Like, I'm serious. I'm actually curious. Like, because the idea is, if this stuff is involved, like now, you know, some of the original people from Rockstar left, and suddenly this stuff enters the studio and the culture, culture within the studio, then the idea is, so GTA 6 is now going to lose the spark, you know, that made the previous GTA games so good. But my question is, what if it doesn't? What then? You know what I mean? Like that to me is the interesting part. Like, I get where you're coming from. Like, you're saying these people have like infiltrated some of our most beloved video game studios and they're ruining it. But what do we like chalk it up to if it's like, actually GTA 6 comes out, it's amazing, and people consider it the best GTA ever made? You know? Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it just kind of makes all this seem pretty unnecessary. I mean, like, kind of digging deep into it. Come here, boss. Boss, you're just gonna let Luna take over your territory like that? All right, let's
An acquisition lady's sister wrote a book. So what? Well, there's more. Here's Ingrid Enriquez Donasaint, where she would write things for Tamtam, which is like some other thing to do with DEI stuff, but anyway, which would focus on exclusively representation and stereotypes. These sisters who are attached to Rockstar are all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. It also doesn't help with this excerpt written by Ingrid, which reads, "Be aware of blind spots or be humble enough to discover those you didn't know were there. Build alliances with experts and consumers with soft spots different from yours, ethnography. To enrich your lens, but also to give you substance to craft relatable stories to other people and not just the same old two white folks." So the person in charge of who gets hired at Rockstar that worked at Behavior has a sister who is an ethnographer that writes books and theses about how we must deconstruct whiteness in the world, but it gets worse, so let's keep going. Remember how I said a lot of people from Behavior suddenly joined Rockstar? Here's a software engineer named Kelly who now works at Rockstar. Look at where they're from, it's Behavior, of course. And they have also retweeted stuff like donations for racial injustice and equality. Oh boy, isn't that just wonderful? Sometimes the talent acquisition people below Wendy, they don't even hide their agenda, like Apurva Sharma here, who works in talent acquisition at Rockstar, and literally has DEI advocate on her public LinkedIn profile. Apurva's LinkedIn states in her own words, "I am a talent acquisition professional specializing in technical game development roles at Rockstar Games. I believe in delivering a positive and transparent interview experience that celebrates candidates' diversity and fosters an inclusive environment. I am passionate about connecting talented individuals to their dream roles that fulfill, challenge, and value them. And they're open about DEI and advocating for inclusive environments, which is technical speak for we don't want white people here, only diverse people going forward." Then, of course, we have Alicia Powers-Lee, a senior talent acquisition specialist at Rockstar, who has said publicly that she wants all Trump supporters to drop dead, as you can see right here. Very inclusive of you, Alicia, to want the majority of America to just be wiped off the face of the earth because you don't agree with them politically.
Bro, all Trump supporters should drop. I mean, dude, this is, see, I will say, this is the shit that's fucked up. This is the shit that gets me, where it's like, shouldn't this woman be held accountable for saying this shit publicly? You know, like, shouldn't there be some kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it's just, it is so weird. Like, it's fine if you don't like Trump and you maybe don't have the best view of people who voted for Trump, but it's like, you're going to take up this mantle of like, we need to be inclusive and it's all about DEI and stuff. And it's like, fine, whatever. But then it's like, you go and say shit like this. I mean, come on. So weird, man.
Another talent acquisition person is Shannon here. It's weird that they're all women in this apartment too. Are you noticing that as well? Also, who has worked at Epic Games before and has openly admitted that she also pushes for DEI in gaming as seen here, because of course she does. Diana here, who also works at Rockstar, also openly admits in her LinkedIn that she advocates for DEI, and even cites DEI implementation to be one of her core skills that is a part of her skill set. Then we have
let me see. King Sausage says, "The Last of Us is woke as hell. Great games will be great games. People need to normalize the world is changing. White males are not majority power anymore." I mean, I get where you're coming from, King Sausage, but my whole thing with this is like, if the argument that's being made here ultimately, like the bigger picture argument is like, listen, like there just needs to be more diversity and inclusivity. I think that's fine. Like, I've always stated that I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think where things get kind of conflated is like, there's a lot of people involved across all these different industries. What seems to become problematic is that certain individuals who are seemingly behind the whole, we need to push for more DEI and more inclusivity, it seems like the focus begins to shift away from, in some instances, who can do the best job, who's the most qualified. Doesn't skin color is not important, sex is not important, you know, gender, none of that shit's important. Who can do the best job? You know? And to be fair, like, I think most people, at least I would hope, most people whose job it is to determine that, you know, within a company, that's what they're focused on. Who can do the best job? Who's the best person to get the job done? But there's no denying that there are people who don't do that. And I think that's I'm not saying that it's even the people that are being pointed out on screen, but there's this concern that, like, if your whole push is DEI, then how do we know that DEI, the diversity, the, you know, equity, the inclusiveness, how do we know that that's not overriding merit and skill? You know, because it definitely shouldn't. If you got to, you know, hire somebody and maybe like optically it's like, well, yeah, it's a white person. But it just so happens that out of all the candidates, like that person actually had like the most merit. It's just how it came to be. You know, you kind of get worried that, but here's the problem, right? The problem is that has happened on the other side in the past. That has happened. And that is what has led people, that is what has led to this moment in time, I would say, where it's like there has been an exposure of corruption across all industries. That, like, not everybody was operating this way. Not every company was operating this way. Not every person in charge was a complete piece of shit. But there were some. And again, they're scattered across all these different industries. And the realization that people have had is like, holy shit, like some of this stuff that we, you know, that we suspected may have been true was true. And so the people who were, I guess you could say, either most affected by it or, you know, had a direct line to that, you know, they're gonna go on a crusade, understandably. You know, it's action reaction, dude, and it's like I always say, it's the pendulum swinging, bro. That's all it is. One day you're gonna have people being hired because, oh, they're white, or they're my friend, or, you know, I don't want to be inclusive. I don't want to be diverse. I want it to be what I want it to be because I'm in charge. You have that going on one day. And then the next day, somebody else is in charge. And that person says, I'm going to make the most diverse, inclusive group ever seen. And it doesn't really matter if it's a subpar, inadequate, or potentially mediocre group. That doesn't matter because the only thing that matters is it's the most diverse and inclusive. Both of those things are garbage and shouldn't exist. You know, again, people, they don't like the centrist mentality. I get it. And people are like, it ain't 2018 anymore. Get the fuck out of here. I get it. But that's really what is needed. Like that, like literally that's what is needed. We just need people to be fucking adults and not make stupid decisions based off of, well, I'm angry and annoyed, or I'm fucking in charge and I get to do what I want. Like both of those things are childish. You know? They're not professional, they're not mature, and they're not going to get shit done. But I don't know. All right. We'll finish this up. It's got a little bit longer to go.
Have Tim, who works at Rockstar. And what do you think he specializes in? Of course, it's DEI as well. Tim says in his own words where he used to work, I organized key employee events and drove diversity and inclusion efforts as a DEI leader. So this guy's entire job and skill set at Rockstar is to ensure places are more diverse and inclusive. And all of these people are in charge of Rockstar's culture and hiring, by the way. Then of course you have Max here, who also works at Rockstar, who's only been there for about 2 months as of the making of this video. Max has also made it clear on her position with Gamergate 2, where she reposted another person which says, it's upsetting that many of my closest friends on this platform have stopped posting as women because of the harassment stemming from Gamergate 2.0. They've shared experiences of being called diversity hires, being told they're only hired for their appearance and as eye candy, and even having doctored media created with their faces on offensive and inappropriate content. I mean, it's not wrong to call people diversity hires, especially at Rockstar. This video alone has shown that there is an overwhelming amount of agenda that is pushing and happening at Rockstar right now. As for being called eye candy, I mean, I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but it's very obvious people are being hired based on race and gender at Rockstar. That cannot be denied. Then, of course, there's one of the more senior people in this video named VV Langdon, who has also publicly stated that they hate people who don't agree with trans identity or anything like that. This Vivi has also worked at Rockstar for almost 10 years so far as a senior tools programmer. Vivi has also made it apparent that Twitter back in 2019 apparently doesn't care about trans people, which I don't know, Vivi, because in 2019 you would get banned instantly on Twitter or really anywhere else if you said anything about anyone who is trans. Even more so if it was 2020 or 2021. So I don't really agree with you on that one, all things considered, but Vivi doesn't care about trans people, which I don't know. Vivi, because in 2019 you would get banned instantly on Twitter or really anywhere else if you said anything about anyone who is trans. Even more so if it was 2020 or 2021. So I don't really agree with you on that one, all things considered, but Vivi is obviously someone who is pro-censorship, of course, too. Because here's Vivi advocating for people to report another user on Twitter for not validating their gender identity. Great. Totally rational behavior there. Another Rockstar employee whose name is Emily said via Twitter that they're glad Rockstar removed any negative depictions of trans people from GTA 5 when they released the enhanced edition of the game. In case you didn't know, Rockstar went back and removed any and all traces of what was considered transphobic from GTA for PS5, Series X, and such. As you can see here in this The Gamer article, this was all patched out from jokes, character models, and interactions with what was considered not socially acceptable by the standards of today.
Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I do remember that. And look, I don't know exactly, and this is where I'm going to be careful with this because I don't know the exact nature of what they removed. But it's like GTA is offensive to everybody. To everybody, you know? So it is interesting. It's like, oh, we removed that. Well, you're going to remove all the other stuff offending everybody else? Or just that? That's, you know, to me, that's the part that makes me wonder, like, you likely, you put that in the game originally because you realize, like, yeah, we're making fun of the trans people too because we're making fun of everybody in this game. But then they go back and they remove it, but everything else gets kept. So I don't know. Maybe he'll go on and specify exactly what was removed. Maybe what was removed was particularly bad. I don't know. I mean, the only thing that can debunk this is that these programs have existed for years before GTA 5, which is doubtful. Well, that's why I'm interested to see the debunking video because it's like, I mean, I'm almost 20 minutes in this video, and yeah, I can tell, man. Like, you can tell why people watch Endymion and are clicking on every new video that's saying, like, wait until you hear about this. Because it's showing stuff that seems like, yeah, I don't know, there does seem to be a little bit of nonsense going on here. And that's what I'm going to call it, nonsense, because that's what it feels like. This feels like people trying a bit, like, way too hard and overextending their reach in a relatively disingenuous way, where it's like the base core of what they're trying to convey is not bad, but the way in which they're going about it is like, I don't know that this is the best way to handle this, you know? But MVG in comedy, the direction of the punch kind of matters. It's harder to get away with punching down versus punching up or sideways. Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess I'd have to, you know, analyze it a little bit deeper and, like, what kind of jokes did Rockstar make towards, like, this group versus this group, you know? I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it that much because it's like, fuck if I care, you know? Like, I don't know.
Notice also that this was released and patched in 2022, specifically around the exact same time all of these talent acquisition employees get hired from places like Behavior Interactive. And within the same time frame that many white developers were being strong-armed into taking unconscious bias courses to renounce their whiteness or privileges in the name of wokeness. So GTA 5 went from being a game that's a part of a series that satirizes and makes fun of everyone to suddenly not being allowed anymore to make jokes about certain individuals the moment that Dan Houser and his top talent leave Rockstar.
Well, we don't know that. Okay, so this is the one part that I was kind of waiting for. We don't know that. That's an assumption on his part. And this is exactly what I mean. This is why I kind of jumped in to defend Ghost of Yota. Not defend, but try to, like, calm the waters with Ghost of Yota. Because, like, we don't have that answer. And people are speaking like we do. People are talking like we played the fucking game. And that's the part that bothers me, where it's like, it's fine if you want to present stuff and show stuff and be like, this is why you should be concerned. But to then take it like 3 steps further and be like, no, this is why you should not buy this game and be ready to, like, you should hate it already. Like, we don't know that. You know? We don't know that. Shems, you're saying, flash the bald, feed the beast. Oh, yeah, we did. Okay, we did hit the... We did hit 10... super chats. Thank you for that. Here we go. Let me finish this up.
And then the entire studio gets gripped from the top to bottom by DEI initiatives. Funny how that works, yet they'll still tell you that I'm just crazy for noticing these things. By the way, this was pushed to Rockstar by an LGBTQ+ gaming industry advocacy group called Out Making Games that demanded that Rockstar remove any mention of transphobia from the game in 2022, right around the time when Dan Houser left as well. And by the way, that Emily Evans lady who worked at Rockstar and celebrated when the company removed the so-called trans content, oh, would you look at that, under her licenses and certifications, she has the unconscious bias course in her LinkedIn because of course she does. I mean, she's a white person after all. Here's another developer named Flavio who also works at Rockstar. And there it is again, unconscious bias course certification because he's a white game developer. I wish I was kidding, but this is really happening. If you're not willing to play by their rules, they will just simply crush you with demands until you submit. There's also Austin Ruda, a senior production coordinator at Rockstar who also, big surprise like many others, used to work at Behavior Interactive. This dev via Blue Sky says that he hates Gamergate people too. Not seeing garbage sponsored posts from grifters, rage baiters, and right-wing stooges every other post is so nice, man. WTF, pure bliss. So there's a lot of liberal, pro-DEI, pro-censorship people at Rockstar right now. Yep, sorry to break it to you all, guys. Here's Austin retweeting things too with all the usual stuff you think these people do as well. Then the final person here is named Craig, and he's a weird one that I don't quite understand 100% to be honest. But he's been very vocal for children to be exposed to trans stuff. He also works at Rockstar too. He's a Scottish dev who really hates the SNP or Scottish National Party. He advocates, as you see here, that children should understand how to feel pleasure during intercourse. Yeah, I just feel weird reading this out loud, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. And here's Craig yelling at the Scottish National Party saying children don't need mothers and fathers again. Super weird that this guy has such a fixation on children and stuff. He also calls the government homophobic here, and then just starts posting a bunch of trans and rainbow flags whenever parties within Scotland want to push for traditional family values and such. And then the Scottish Party shares a video to show how families make babies, I guess. And Craig doesn't like this because I guess they're pushing heterosexual relations, I suppose. It's super weird, dude. I don't know what to make of this guy specifically, to be real with you. But as you can see from all the info presented here, that Rockstar is definitely...
I'll tell you what to make of it. The dude's a fucking freak. There. We settled it.
more than knee-deep in DEI initiatives right now across the entire company. They are full of activists who are pushing DEI, wokeness, weird kid family stuff, and hiring people in droves from companies that also push the same sort of ideologies. The unconscious bias thing was a big part of the scoop because whenever people claim that white devs specifically are not being targeted or forced to comply to the beliefs or whims of others, I mean, it's just simply not true. White developers are absolutely getting strangled by this industry to comply to these insane demands. As I'm told by some sources too, since I might as well add it here while I'm making this, GTA 6's story should mostly be kept intact from when Dan Houser and such wrote it like they did every other GTA game in Red Dead story. But this doesn't mean things couldn't be changed, of course, and I would mostly worry about the post-launch future of GTA 6 than anything else. Side content will likely be sanitized as well too. Expect no trans jokes or anything, but plenty of jokes about white people instead, because that's totally fine to do, of course. If GTA 6 somehow doesn't hit the landing and it just ends up pissing off the fans, we could be looking at one expensive disaster on our hands. I do think it will still sell well. I mean, it is GTA, but...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will say, bro, like, GTA is fine. Like, it doesn't... I mean, in the grand scheme, this doesn't matter because GTA is gonna... Nothing's gonna stop that train. Literally nothing. So, but we will see, man. We will see. Now, look, I gotta be fair here, okay? I want to be fair. Somebody made a video debunking this. You guys just saw the video. We saw the proof, the evidence. Let me see. I lost the video. Hold on. Oh, Jesus. What was the name of the YouTuber that you said debunked it? Because I lost it. Yeah, I'm curious to see the rebuttal. Boss needs his snacks first. Boss isn't coming to eat his snacks. Boss, come on. You want treats? Come on. Come on. Dude, Luna has forced Boss into complete submission. He doesn't even care anymore. He's like, he's not moving. So I'll wait until he, Luna, you just got plenty. I'll wait until he... I think I found the video. I'm not sure if this is the right one or not. It's much shorter. It's like 8 minutes long. But I think it's only fair to, you know, if we're to hear both sides. Boss is being marginalized. Oh, man. All right. Let's see.
So this guy Endymion has posted a video talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 exposed, silenced white male developers and Rockstar infested with woke DEI agenda. That is literally all the buzzwords you need, but I will give this video in total credit because it appears like research has been done. Unfortunately, it's been done in the wrong places. Now I know that you're probably already typing getting angry at me, but just give me a couple of minutes to break apart some of the points he makes in this video. And of course, you're more than welcome to disagree in the comments below, but please just hear me out. So the first thing in this video, his source for this was a guy on Twitter that I've personally never heard of. Maybe you guys have, but in my opinion, this is the same vein that Andy Pants used the journalist as a source for an article. So the source isn't anyone directly at Rockstar. We'll move on to the next point. He mentions that Dan Houser, Laszlo Jones, and Michael Unsworth all left Rockstar around 2022. Now at this point, we're about a minute and a half into the video, and I can already say that's incorrect. Endymion claims that Dan left in 2022. He actually departed the business in 2019 and his final contract date was in 2020, but he didn't return to the office. So he actually left the business in 2019, 3 years before everything that you're seeing happening in this video. Then Laszlo supposedly left because of the woke mind virus at Rockstar Games, but a quick Google search, like literally the first thing that comes up in Google from leaving, is an interview that Laszlo did with IGN where he talks about the reason why he left is because his sister had developed a terminal cancer and he became a
Oh, holy shit, dude. See, this is exactly what I fucking mean. Within a minute of watching this man's video, he already like disproved like the first things. Oh my god, bro. Oh, it's all done in such bad faith. Holy shit. All right, let's keep going.
Primary full-time carer. This was actually well documented and there's multiple interviews about this. Then next we have Michael Unsworth leaving. Well, Michael Unsworth put on LinkedIn about 2 years ago now that he wants to venture more into audiobooks, and Dan Houser started a company focusing predominantly on audiobooks. So he ended up working with Dan Houser, as I'm guessing that they both enjoyed working together. Now none of this 24-minute video by Endymion TV actually gives any proof that the reasons why these people left were anything to do with what he actually showed in the video. It was merely speculation presented as fact. But once again, we'll move on to the rest of the video. Now during this video, he mentions Stacey Gordon, and he goes into detail about how she's part of this mind virus, brainwashing everyone, and then very quickly glosses over her lectures and her podcast, which were predominantly focused on encouraging people of colour to go into different professions. Her target demographic is predominantly people of colour. But from this information, Endymion extrapolates that Rockstar Studios are getting choked to death by the woke virus and the culture of unconscious bias. I just want to point out here that throughout this video, on about 8 different occasions, he mentions that Rockstar Games employees are being forced to take this course. Not choosing to, being forced. Absolutely no proof for that, and actually speaking to 2 Rockstar employees, one former and one present, they were never at all forced or encouraged by Rockstar to take.
See, holy shit. Wow, you know? I mean, that's... It's fun. It's really funny watching this video right after. You're saying you are forced or you're fired? Neither of them even knew what it was. You're forced or you're fired. I don't know, man. It's interesting. This is very interesting. Let's keep going.
Take this course, but we'll get onto that in a little bit. He then states that this course was exclusively pushed onto white employees at Rockstar Games, which once again, there is no evidence of. If that was true, that would be a massive problem, and his whole video would be correct. But we'll get onto that, because once again, That's not true. Next, he shows how this woman is associated with Rockstar. Now, looking all over Google, I can't find any reference to her being part of Rockstar Games or actually working directly with Rockstar Games. However, she has a fully published course supported by LinkedIn, backed by LinkedIn, that many LinkedIn members would have received notifications to go ahead and do the course. Now, for those that don't know, on LinkedIn, you can complete many different courses. This helps your discoverability for job applications, but also it boosts your rankings on LinkedIn because it shows that you're more qualified in different things. Every week, LinkedIn will recommend new courses to you.
Dude, holy shit. What this man just said is so important. And this was just totally left out. This was just totally left out. I didn't know that about LinkedIn. I didn't know that basically people on LinkedIn get notifications of new courses and stuff they can take to help kind of boost their visibility. Like that, I don't know, man. This is why I'm so fucking skeptical about the way people are presenting shit these days, especially those who are getting like the most attention, because it's like, I mean, I get it. You're welcome to corporate America, but it's just, I feel like these are important facts. These are important things that I think should have been presented with it, so we have the full picture. Because the more I'm hearing this guy talk, where he's like, let me tell you why not everything that presented was fact or accurate or true. You know, the more I hear it, the more I'm like, so it's almost like it was, I saw somebody in the chat say, it was almost like it was like nearly a nothing burger. You know, like somebody's ringing the bell, making you feel like you got to panic and be fucking ready to boycott, when in reality, it's like, it's just not like that at all. But, you know, let's keep going.
And usually this works by some sort of paid partnership between the person that makes the course and LinkedIn themselves. Now, I actually want to mention here, if you go onto LinkedIn's learning platform, her course is one of the recommended courses pushed by LinkedIn. And this is further supported by the fact that at the bottom of the page, it states that it's a LinkedIn-backed course. I don't work for Rockstar, and I'm sure if any of you actually go and check this on your LinkedIn page, you'll be able to find her course as a supported course for all of LinkedIn. She is partnered with LinkedIn, not Rockstar. Now, the LinkedIn course structure over the past 3 or 4 years in particular has massively blown up, because people looking to employ people tend to look at the most qualified people and having the different qualifications on LinkedIn. This is part of LinkedIn's push for a learning platform. Now, to be clear, at this point, Rockstar have absolutely zero involvement directly with this lady. This is purely LinkedIn pushing it to people within the industry. She also has 88,000 followers and nearly 500,000 people have completed her LinkedIn course. Everyone from people at McDonald's to Walmart, and I actually just searched for some random names on LinkedIn, and within the first page of search results, I found 3 people that had completed that course, because it was a massive push by LinkedIn. Now, if you wanted to title this video, LinkedIn exposed, silences white people, whatever, go ahead, do it. But so far, this is representative of LinkedIn, not Rockstar. Now, according to Endymion, 60 employees at Rockstar took this unconscious bias course, which, by the way, is 60 employees out of the 4,000 to 6,000 employees that they have. That's it, game's woke, we should just boycott the game. Now, once again, Endymion mentioned that it's mainly white employees that completed the course out of the 60 people that did it. Now, if you actually look at his own screenshot, the majority of these people are based in the UK, in Scotland. Now, my dear boy, I'm not sure if you've ever been to Scotland, but it's not exactly the largest pool of diversity you've ever seen. And more to the point, a lot of the images that you and your fellow buddies in the community keep pushing online, which is pictures of Rockstar's employees, nearly all of them are white. So if you took a small sample of people out of these 4,000 to 6,000 employees and a percentage of them were to complete this course, it's very, 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 very likely that the vast majority, if not all of them, would be white. This is basic data. You then talk about Michael P, who apparently has been infected with the woke mind virus. And do you know why he's ruining our game and he's infected with the woke mind virus? Because he completed a course on LinkedIn. Yet, even in this very video, you acknowledge that he's been at the company for 23 years. A 28-minute course out of all the courses he's done on LinkedIn is not going to invigorate him to bring out the gay in him. Like, your total outlook in this situation is very extreme. Now, the rest of his video hinges on everything that we've just discussed, and it takes that as the basis for the rest of his arguments being completely truthful. Now, I'm not in any position to say whether he skewed this information to drive a point home, or whether it was just slightly misrepresented by the person that gave him this information, but I want to reiterate here, we are judging the outcome of a game based on stuff that isn't even true. Now, I've had to make so many videos talking about this, and every single one of my videos, I get people arguing in the comments about things that I've already debunked. Andy Pants videos, I debunked in their entirety. To be fair to Endymion, there is actually some more extensive research that he's put into this. But what Endymion's doing at the moment is judging how good a car is without driving it. He's judging how good the pasta tastes without eating it. He's judging how good the game is without playing it. Now, at the end of his own video, he talks about something which a lot of people wouldn't have seen because the retention rate just always is never 100% on videos. But he mentions that all the people that he talks about leaving, they all actually made GTA 6. Michael Unsworth has it on his LinkedIn bio that he worked in GTA 6. All these other people developed GTA 6. All the people that have left developed GTA 6. More to the point, a lot of the people that have supposedly completed this LinkedIn course, scrolling through, some of them have been at Rockstar Games for 15 plus years. Doing a LinkedIn course is not going to change the whole outlook and perception on the whole world and their own political biases. They're doing this course to get a little tick box on LinkedIn. And if you don't believe that, I want to ask you all the question right now. If you're presented with a course on LinkedIn and you complete it, is that going to completely change the way that you approach life, gaming, your work, your profession, your career? Very unlikely. So out of the 6,000 or so employees of Rockstar, 60 people completed the course and maybe one employee was actually personally affected by it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you all in the next.
This YouTuber, by the way, his name is Cyberboi, B-O-I. I saw a couple people asking. I realized it didn't show up. Yeah, dude. See, fuck, man. This is the problem. This is the problem. And this is what I feared when I heard, you know, I heard all this shit about GTA 6 being woke, and, you know, for once I decided to actually like dive deep into just knowing like where is this coming from? Why are people saying this shit? And at the end of the day, it's what I already assumed, dude. It's what it's exactly what I assumed, and I'm not saying that it's a justification to constantly assume, but you know, you see something enough times, you see it come around enough times, you hear the sound of that bell ringing, and you kind of already know. And what I had assumed is that basically people are just jumping the gun. They're just jumping the gun. They're just making assumptions that, you know, that they can't prove. Like they want, basically what it boils down to is you have people out here with massive platforms, massive reach, and also clearly massive influence. And they're basically coming out and saying, listen, I'm going to show you a bunch of shit, all right, that I handpicked, and I'm not going to present all the facts. I'm going to try to prevent that from happening. I'm going to present things in a way that hopefully leaves you feeling like you want nothing to do with this product or this game. Because if I were to show you everything, if I were to give you every explicit detail, you might still, you know, you might not be on board 100%. You might not be on board 100%. I just, it is what it is, man. I guess it's nothing new. You know? I guess at the end of the day, it's nothing new. It's just shit that's always kind of been there. And it's not to say that there aren't potentially problems, you know, but I had to look into this because, you know, I see a lot of people are like, bro, I'm tired of talking about the woke stuff and whatnot. It's like, I am too. But it's just when I'm trying to talk about a game and literally like almost all of the most upvoted shit I'm seeing are people screeching about how the game's fucked, it's woke, and the studio's woke, and this, it's like, I feel like at some point I gotta sit down and look at where this is coming from and figure out, like, is it really, like, damn, is this really as bad as people are making it sound? And it's fucking not. It's fucking, like, there are people watching videos like that have basically decided, I am no longer excited for the video game Grand Theft Auto 6 by Rockstar Games because of a fucking 24-minute video made by a person whose agenda, by the way, it's ironic because he used the word grifter, whose agenda is to fucking make money off of people's rage and hatred and disdain and frustration. Meanwhile, I understand that the whole reason this group even exists and how they're even making money and getting attention is because they're busy calling the kettle black in some cases, right? Where it's like, let me tell you how there are grifters inside the video game industry right now, finding their way into certain studios and having a negative influence on them. These are wolves in sheep's clothing, people with bad intent, and they're just hiding it very well. It's like, gee, that sounds really fucking familiar. You know? Gee, I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked. This is nothing new. It's always been this way. There's always going to be bad actors, wolves in sheep's clothing, you know, and people that are here to, they're just in it to fucking either get one over on people that they feel have wronged them, or to just fucking make money. To just make as much money off of people as they possibly can. And it's just, you know, it's frustrating that it's gotten to this point with video games. And you know what? I want to know. I'm going to look it up myself right now. I'm going to look it up myself. You know what? This is where I'll say, see, it says apparently the thing that Rockstar removed was a hot pink clad Captain Space toy figure in a box highlighting interchangeable genitalia. It has been removed in the new console version of the game. See, like, come on, Rockstar. Why? That's not even that offensive. This shit's just funny. An alternative figure with a more reserved outfit, and posable vomit direction remains on the wall. I will admit, Rockstar shouldn't have bent the knee on that one, bro. That shit's just funny. Like, it's really not that serious. Like, could you imagine being offended by that? That's what gets me, is like the people screaming at Rockstar, like, how dare you? Like, bro, it's fucking funny. It's a joke. They're making fun of everybody. Come on now, man. Come on. But yeah, I mean, I will say, I hope that's not indicative of like, yeah, we're just going to bend the knee for everything now. I mean, you know, we're going to find out. I'm not willing to let something as small as that make me, you know, just jump to the conclusion, well, I guess GTA 6 is going to be trash then. Like, and I'll be honest, they removed it from GTA 5. Look, I'm not going to sit here and fucking pretend. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you the way other people will lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I am fucking upset that Rockstar removed this toy, this random action figure that made a trans joke in GTA 5. I don't give a fuck. I don't. Now, if it turns out that that's the beginning of, well, they're going to remove all the jokes in GTA 6, then I will give a fuck. But no, I don't care enough to fucking lose my mind and make it seem like I'm no longer interested. Josh, is you're saying nowadays misinformation is more powerful than truth? That is so fundamentally backwards. I know, dude. Damn, angry well watcher. You don't torture a white man in GTA 5. Yeah, but I'll be honest, man, like, I wouldn't care if we did. I wouldn't care if it was a white woman. You know, it's like, bro, I don't know. I do think that sometimes we start to, not like me or you, but generally speaking, people, I think sometimes the more you start focusing on certain things, the more you start to look for it. And I think we start to just notice things that otherwise, I think like most people just wouldn't notice. And I guess that's where like the whole unconscious bias thing comes in, where it's like, well, yeah, because people aren't thinking about it consciously. But I don't know. I mean, I understand from a psychological perspective, like that is a thing and why that could be potentially problematic. But I don't know, man. I just think like sometimes it's like, can we just like let some shit be? Like really, you know, like can we just let some shit be? Like there's always going to be a place in the world for certain media that it's like the job of this particular media is to just take no prisoners, you know? Nobody's safe. And that's, I think in a way that's important. Like I mean, I think at times it can be viewed as immature, but it just, you know, it reminds me of like, and look, I'm not trying to be too harsh here, but I am a believer in that sometimes people just kind of learn to take a fucking joke, dude. I mean, really. You know, I've been there. I think everybody has a personal experience of like having their feelings hurt. Somebody saying something that actually did bother you or offend you or hurt you. And I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm just saying in reality, like it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it, you know, there is something I think to be said for just like, maybe sometimes it's like, you know, you make fun of something about me, I make fun of something about you, and at the end of the day, we both just laugh at it, and we just kind of shrug off. It's like, you know what? It's really not that serious, you know? I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of how, like, sometimes the best way sometimes people just straight up got to get in fistfights. You know, not like deadly serious fistfights where it's like, I'm gonna kill you with my bare hands, boy. Like, not like that. But just like, you know, you got to settle, you got some frustrations, you got to settle dispute, just fucking take it out back, you know? Take it outside. Meet me at the fucking oak tree at 3:00 and we'll go at it for a little bit. We'll do a couple rounds. Fuck it, put on some boxing gloves, you know? And you know, you're not trying to kill the other person, but you get it out, and then before you know it, you're both laughing at each other. You're like, you know what? I feel better. We both feel better. We needed that. We needed to get that out. You know, fuck these microaggressions. Let's just get it all out. And then we'll shake on it afterwards. I don't know, man. I'm not even saying that's the healthiest thing either, but I think we do have to remember sometimes that we are human. You know, we are not gods and goddesses. We are human. And yeah. Anyway. I'm still hyped for GTA 6. That's the point, guys. That's the point of this stream. We need to laugh at ourselves sometimes. Yeah, I think that's ultimately what I'm just trying to say is that, you know, it's not always a good thing to take everything so seriously. Sometimes it is good to just laugh at yourself and learn to just let shit roll. And I think it's actually a necessary thing to learn in life because you got to know like which battles are worth fighting because not every battle is worth fighting. Not every perceived battle is even really a battle, you know? We're fighting white men. I'm punching myself right now. I'm doing my part. Well, Patrick, you do you, man. You do you. Commies versus normies. Yeah. Well, never forget, us human beings, we exist on a tiny little speck that we call Earth that exists in a wider, totally indifferent and chaotic universe with no rhyme or reason. And yet we consistently try to provide that rhyme and that reason. Disco Cobra 2013. He says, hey, bud, I've been getting back into a regular workout routine, mostly focused on free weights, full body, and cardio, light jogging, at home. What's your typical workout like? Do you do the gym or home? How much time do you spend a day? Well, first off, that's good, Disco Cobra. I applaud you. It's good to get back into a routine, and especially it sounds like you're checking off all the boxes. So good shit there. Well, for many years, I went to the gym. And my workout routine when I went to the gym was basically 5 to 6 days a week. And I had that I used to do the bro split, which I think is like not the ideal split anymore, but I used to do like one, maybe two body parts, you know, two muscle groups, a workout where like Monday, chest day, you know, chest and triceps. And then Tuesday is back and biceps. Wednesday is legs and calves, you know, or abs. And I did that for, you know, and I would just, you know, kind of repeat that. It would actually get to a point where sometimes I would just do a lot of days were just dedicated to arms or just delts, right? But I don't go to the gym anymore. Instead, I actually work out at home, and my routine is definitely diminished over the years, where it's been, I would say, more basic. A lot of times I just do full body routines now, and I try to do them relatively quick. So I'm basically trying to like check off both boxes at once. I've tried to like optimize my workout routine where it's like I'm going to be doing a full body workout. I'm going to be trying to keep a good pace, so I'm basically getting cardio in and conditioning at the same time. However, for the last couple months, I haven't been working out because I've had something wrong with my stomach, and there is a chance what I'm dealing with is possibly, I don't know yet. I haven't had it confirmed. I'm going to be getting it tested, but I could have a bad hiatal hernia. And if that is what it is, you know, I can't lift weights until I can't do any heavy lifting or straining until I get that tested and confirmed. Because if it's not that, then I can get back to lifting. I kind of hope it's not that, but at the same time, like I don't know what it is. So unfortunately, Disco Cobra, I've been starting to get pretty much out of shape, and I'm like getting a little bit nervous. Luckily, I'm getting my test done in a couple days, so I should have answers very, very soon, and I should be able to get right back into it. But yeah, I'm kind of getting that anxiety of like I'm starting to definitely get out of shape, and I don't want it to slip too far because I know. Oh, I don't know. There we go. So now I just got to tap the camera sometimes. But I know like once you get far enough out of shape, it's really, you got to start. It's like starting all over again. It's really, really hard. You do have muscle memory, obviously, but yeah. So it's been about, I would say, 2 months. I've done a little bit of light working out, but I'm basically afraid to work out right now. Like I'm afraid to make, if this is what I have, to make it any worse, but it might not be that. It might not be that. So, but Disco Cobra, basically what I would do, like I said, is 5 to 6 days a week, full body workout. I wouldn't go crazy with the sets. I would keep it between 3 and 5 sets. One compound movement per body part. So like chest, I'm doing benching, right? Or dumbbell presses. Back, I'm doing any kind of pull, really. Bent over barbell rows, dumbbell rows. Shoulders, I'm doing shoulder presses or lateral raises. And, you know, again, between 3 and 5 sets, usually targeting, give or take, anywhere between 8 and sometimes on the higher end, 15, sometimes 20 reps if I want to go for volume. And again, I would try. The one thing I will say that I've truly screwed up though, probably like 4 years ago at this point, I stopped working out my abs. And actually, I wonder if this is why I would have a hiatal hernia. I stopped working out my abs. And so I'm still working out every other muscle in my body. I do my legs too. But my abs, I would even do my calves. But my abs, I just wouldn't do it. I'm just, I hate fucking working my abs out. I can't stand it. And, you know, I'm a little bit older now. Time has caught up with me a little bit. And my abs are pretty much almost gone. Like I still have abs underneath, but now I have like a layer of I have a little bit of a belly now, you know, and I never used to have that. I used to have a 6-pack, and but that, you know, it's true what they say, man. Keeping up with that appearance of having a visible 6-pack is fucking hard. It's not even hard. It's like miserable, dude. It's like miserable. But you know, I think once I get clarification on whether or not I have a hiatal hernia, if I don't, I think I'm going to try to get back into doing abs Probably not. I don't know. I think I've just let it go. I've just let it go at this point. But I have a 7-pack, a 6-pack with a big layer on top. I got a 12-pack. Dude, working out legs sucks too. Like if you're doing a big leg workout, it sucks. The thing about working your legs out is it nukes your nervous system, bro. It just nukes it. So it's not hard at all. Just get one of those little devices. You put on your 6-pack and it goes for about 10 minutes. It's like doing hundreds of crunches. I saw that. It just doesn't feel right. They're like the electroshock therapy or some shit. I don't know. They like basically stimulate your muscles while you're just sitting there. It just doesn't feel right, man. You're fine with legs, shoulders, and back always kill you. I feel the opposite. But yeah, man, it's good that you're getting back into lifting and doing some cardio. I could probably, I know I can afford to do a little bit more cardio. A lot of times, I haven't been drumming as much either, but a lot of times I would rely on drumming to get my cardio in, which depending, I mean, I like to play a lot of metal, like, you know, rock and different genres of metal. So because of that, I'd definitely be getting some cardio in. But let yourself go and turn into a VTuber. Checkmate. Boom. But guys, that's going to wrap up today's stream. We're just at the 2.5 hour mark. I guess I'm going to have to change the title and thumbnail of this because we definitely didn't cover all the topics I'd planned to cover. I got very distracted by the whole GTA 6 situation. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in today, and thank you for all the support. I want to give a shout out to anybody who dropped any direct support today. Let me just double check, make sure I didn't miss any direct donations, because for some reason the sound isn't playing for me, or it wasn't. Okay, we're good on that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I also want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter. He does the timestamps for the stream. So Devil Shooter, thank you so much for what you do, man. If you guys see him in the comments, show him some love, show him some thanks. And yeah, so that does it. I did put a video out. Make sure you go check it out if you didn't. And I will catch you guys in the next one, all right? So that does it. Thanks again. And I will catch you guys in the next stream. So until next time, take care, everyone.